Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Bundesliga show, brought to you by Over the Bar. I hope everyone is doing well, and we're back for a very short but important fantasy football show with myself and Runa from Bully News. Runa, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks, Rory.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Looking forward to match week 4. And any thoughts on match week 3? It was a rather interesting one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Werder game really stood out for me. That comeback was really something special, and of course also Bayern's thrashing of Bochum, another impressive win for the champions.
Yeah, absolutely agree. There's some very interesting games in there. Obviously, just a bit of admin as per usual. So we are indeed in partnership with Runa's Brilliant Bully News. So obviously, it's the go-to place for those of you who love German football, the Bundesliga, obviously for English-speaking audience, for transfer rumors. Fantasy football stuff, of course, which we're doing this evening. Long reads, kind of prediction articles with regards to starting 11s and much, much more. So get yourself over to Bully News as soon as possible to check all of that out. As well, please do smash a like on the video. All our fantasy videos so far have been really well received, so absolutely loving that. So share the love, see if we can get ourselves up to 30 likes, roughly speaking. Any more would be fantastic. Comment underneath the video. We're doing this as a pre-record this week. So put your comments in below, and Runa will do his best to get to them as the day goes on ahead of match week 4 for all your burning questions with regards to who you should bring in and who you should get rid of. And please do, of course, press the red button, subscribe, get yourself involved so you don't miss out on any of the Bundesliga content that we've got going on at the moment. This week we've done 3 shows in 1 week. Really, really busy for the show in general, and we're doing 2 shows a week all the time. So great content. We had our brilliant, a really good friend of ours, Fergal from Halbwehr magazine or fanzine. We had him on Monday, which is great fun. So make sure you check that out. And loads more. So subscribe, you won't miss a thing, as well as much, much more. Right then, so get down to business in regards to fantasy football. So this is our shorter version of the show. So we won't kind of do a share screen. We'll just mainly kind of focus on our defenders, midfielders and strikers ahead of match week 4. So Runa, as per is kind of tradition, we're going to stick with our format of our budget picks, kind of mid-range and our premium. So we'll kick off with defenders. So we've got it running there on the banner below for you all. So over to you, Runa. Talk us through your budget, mid-range and premium for defenders.
Yes, sure. My budget pick this week is Mitchell Weiser, who I actually took out of my team last week, because with 5 transfers you can actually do that if you don't think a particular team has a very good matchup, and I kind of felt like Dortmund would win that game, but Weiser set up another injury time goal and did really well. So that's just typical. This week I think he's a pretty good player to have as an enabler to free up funds elsewhere. Actually usually does pretty well, and Werder now have a pretty good schedule with Frankfurt and Bochum and Augsburg in the next 3 games. So they should be high in confidence after that win against Dortmund, and that combined with Weiser's low price and the fact that they have some pretty good fixtures on the horizon, make him a really good option, I think, this week. As an alternative, Kylian Sedilia from Freiburg remains a very good pick as well in the same price.
Very well.
My mid-price pick is Jonas Hector, who has actually surprised me a bit because he's played in midfield in the past, but he's also been a midfielder in the game. But since he's now playing as a defender for Köln, he's also a defender in the game. He's doing really well, winning, taking a lot of points from 1 duels in particular. He's picked up 39 points after 3 matches, which is pretty awesome. So he's a quite consistent source of points, and he also provides great flexibility. The fact that you can sub him in on Sunday is pretty useful if the players you have that play on Friday and Saturday don't deliver. So Hector is a very good pick in that mid-price category, I'd say. And then my premium pick is Rafael Guerreiro, who actually scored a goal last week, but still didn't do that well because Dortmund ended up conceding 3 goals themselves. Sure. Yeah, but as we all know, Guerreiro has a lot of attacking prowess and is great at helping out in the attack, and also takes set pieces and has that sweet left foot. So Dortmund are up against Hertha this week, so and also I've read that Guerreiro could play as a wing back instead of a regular left back, so that of course increases his value from a fantasy perspective. So Guerreiro is a player I'm considering in the same price category as, say, Angelino from Hoffenheim and Christian Günther from Freiburg are very good picks too.
Yeah, all very sound advice. I think probably a bad weekend maybe for Hertha to be playing Dortmund, because you anticipate a reaction from Dortmund, but I mean, they've done so well, I thought, in recruitment terms, especially in defence, but it now looks like their midfield looks a bit kind of sparse to me. But Guerreiro, certainly sweet left foot, as you mentioned, and definitely a really good choice for a premium pick. I benched Weiser at the weekend, so
well, I understand why you did it, because I mean, Werder were huge underdogs, so it made sense. I mean, if the logic behind your move is sensible, then what can you do?
Yeah, very much so. And Hector, really good in those duels, like you mentioned, such an industrious player, I think. So that's definitely some sound advice. So we'll move on to midfielders then. So let's get that up below for you. So on the banner below, as everyone will be able to see. So going through, we've got our budget pick, our mid-price pick, and premium. So a couple of ones that makes a lot of sense with regards to the premium and certainly mid-price. But Rune, talk us through Matthias Olsen then as the budget pick.
Yeah, I mean, he's been getting a lot of praise from Köln coach Steffen Baumgart, and with Mark Uth expected to be out for a while. It was revealed that he needs surgery, so he'll be out for 3 or 4 weeks more at least. And with him out, Olsen could actually get to play a role as a number 10 for FC Köln. I mean, he's kind of competing with Dejan Lubicic, who could also play on the wing. Tonight in Köln's Conference League game, he actually didn't start, but he replaced. I mean, he came onto the pitch in the beginning of the second half. I think Linton Miner actually started on the wing this time. But I think he's a very good shout. He has a pretty good chance of starting. And I mean, if you need to spend that money elsewhere, he costs just 1 million, and with that price, I mean, he's surely worth taking a gamble on. If you want to save a bit of money in midfield, and also think his potential is pretty good, and as I said, Köln have a Sunday fixture this week, so it gives some flexibility to be able to sub it in. Of course, if you have more to spend, then Florian Kainz would probably be a better option, but I mean, he costs around 8 million more, so Olsen is a very intriguing pick for the price, and certainly a player to keep an eye on.
Very good.
And the 2 others are a bit more usual suspects. Christoph Baumgartner is on a bit of a roll. He scored the last 2 games, and I think with Hoffenheim coming off that 3-0 win against Leverkusen and welcoming Augsburg to their home ground this weekend, then Baumgartner is certainly one of the best options in midfield, and that price is not too bad either. So. And my premium pick is Vincenzo Grifo, who I definitely want myself this week. He's just involved in a lot offensively for Freiburg on set pieces, and has already scored 2 goals this season. I think he's one of the best picks this match day. But I mean, if you don't have the money for Grifo, you could always get Retro Doan instead, and spend those. I think Doan is about 5 million cheaper than Grifo. So, I mean, it's always about getting the best possible team on the pitch. And if you need those 5 million elsewhere, then you could, take the one instead, because he has a lot of potential too. But clearly Grifo would be a very good player to have this match day, playing on a Friday night against Bochum at home.
Yeah, very true. Got himself that headed goal, didn't he, against my boys at the weekend, or last weekend, shall we say? Always involved, isn't he, in everything good that Freiburg do offensively. So I've got Doan at the moment, but I'm quite tempted to try and arrange it so I can get Grifo into my team for the first time this season for sure. Good stuff. So obviously we are going to be moving on to strikers in a moment. So here we go, just below. So we've got budget, mid-price, and premium below. But I guess the big question is, Runa, before we go through it, is it about time that we all take Patrick Schick out of our team?
Yes, I'd say so. I still trusted Schick and Frimpong as well to do well last week, but with that 3-0 loss at home against Hoffenheim, I think we have to acknowledge that it's just not working out for Leverkusen at the moment, and steer clear of their players for the time being, and look elsewhere, because it's not like Schick or Frimpong, for that sense, are cheap options. They're actually pretty expensive. So I think that money is better spent on other options.
Sure.
So and one of the options you could consider if you're looking for a cheap one is Niklas Füllkrug from Werder. And as I said earlier, Werder have a pretty good run of fixtures now, with games against Frankfurt, Bochum, and Augsburg coming up. And I think his Füllkrug is pretty underpriced, actually. 5.5 million. He was the top goal scorer last season in the second Bundesliga, and he already scored two times this season. So at that price, I'd say he's a very good option. And if you have a little more to spend, you could consider Michael Gregoritsch. He didn't have his best game against Stuttgart last week. He was kept pretty quiet, but did really well in the 2 games prior to that one, and scored in both of them. So his price is actually quite low, and he has this really great matchup on Friday. And I really like that Friday night fixture, because you can put your star on Gregoritsch and then potentially move it on Saturday or Sunday. So, having that option is pretty great. And just to mention another player in the same category briefly, Jordan Sibachov from Union Berlin. It looks like a very good pick too. They're playing Schalke at home, and he's had a really good start to life in the Bundesliga. So
very, very good.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a player who costs just about the same as Gregoritsch, he's a very good pick too. Finally, my premium pick, Andrej Kramaric from Hoffenheim. I just think he's proven himself as a difference maker so many times in the past. He's much like Grifo for Freiburg. Kramaric is just so involved for Hoffenheim, setting up goals, scoring goals himself. He's quite expensive, and unlike Grifo, he's positioned as a striker in the game. So I think that might explain his low ownership. But actually, that low ownership could be an advantage if you want to get him, because I think he's at 2% at the moment. So if you get Kramaric and he does well, then he can really fire you up the rankings. So I think he has the potential to be a really good differential this week. And the same can be said about Jorginho Ruda, actually, his partner in crime up front. Ruda scored a great goal against Leverkusen last week, smashing it into the top corner. And I really rate him, actually. I think he's destined for great stuff. He needs to find a bit more consistency, but if you can't afford Kramaric, I think Ruda is a pretty good option for a lower cost.
Yeah, completely agree. Kramaric involved in everything, much like you said, with regards to kind of mirroring how Grifo is for Freiburg. I love Ruta. I think he really is a great talent, scored some good goals already in his brief career, and I think he has got some great talent. Completely agree with that there, Runa. That Kramaric 2%, that certainly screams to me like a good kind of move to kind of make up some points. So yeah, that's more or less it for the show. So hopefully you guys are able to catch up with Runa's hints and tips ahead of the match. Well, the match week starting Friday ahead of the Friday kickoff. But yeah, obviously pop your comments in below, and Runa and I will try and get through them on Friday as much as we can do. I think I've dropped a little bit actually after match week 3 again. So I think I'm just circling inside the top 200 in our Bully News and Over the Bar League. And yeah, if you want to get involved in that, it's not too late. You can get involved just by searching in the fantasy app, searching for Bully News and Over the Bar. If failing that, just ask for the link in the comments and we'll send that to you all as well. So good stuff tonight, Runa. Thank you very much for your time as per usual. And thank you all for tuning in. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. As always, please do like the show if you enjoyed what came your way. As already said, comment along. We'll get through them and let you know our thoughts on your fantasy questions. And of course, please do indeed subscribe to the channel. We're really building in the right direction. We've had a great start to the season, especially on our fantasy football. So we really appreciate all your engagement so far, and we'll hope to see you in the next one. Cheers all.